Good evening to all of you and welcome to the session. This session is all about one word substitutes. At the outset, one word substitutes, the question should be, are they important? My answer for that, yes, they're very important. Not only from prelims point of view, they are important from mains point of view, they're very important from descriptive paper point of view. I will tell you how they are going to help when it comes to the descriptive paper. Now let us go to the definition part. What is a one word substitute? One word substitutes are words that can be used in place of a phrase, clause, or a sentence. Here it is coming. One word substitutes are words that can be used in place of a phrase, clause, or a sentence. Now, generally, what happens when you want to express your ideas, you want to talk about someone or something, you depend on sentences. You need about five or six words. But sometimes, instead of a phrase, a clause, or a sentence, you can substitute those phrases, clauses, and sentences with one particular word that is known as a one word substitute. One word substitutes are indispensable. You may ask, sir, what is the meaning of the word indispensable? Means very important. One word substitutes are indispensable from competitive exams point of view for two reasons. What are the two reasons? Reason number one, direct questions are given to test the proficiency in one word substitutes. When it comes to bank exams, when it comes to SSC, they ask or test your knowledge related to one word substitutes. Direct questions. They give a particular word, they give the options, you have to tell the meaning of that particular word, the one word substitute. Or they may give a sentence and they may ask you this particular sentence, what is a word that can be substituted? This is one reason why they are important. The second reason is very important. One word substitutes are useful when it comes to descriptive English. When it comes to the descriptive paper, you all know you have to write one essay, one letter. One can write effective essays and letters with the help of one word substitutes because essay writing or letter writing based on the word limit. If you're not good at one word substitutes, then you cannot express a lot of ideas. Imagine 200 words or 250 words, and you don't know a lot of one word substitutes. Then what happens? You need a lot of sentences, you need a lot of words, but in that process what happens, you cannot express a lot of ideas. So do remember, one word substitutes you have to learn prelims point of view or tier 1 tier 2 mains point of view, but descriptive paper, they are really indispensable. Now today you're going to learn about 21 word substitutes. For each one, first I will present a question. The question, it talks about, it could be a phrase, it could be a sentence. Then four options, you have to select one option. And after that, I will show two or three examples. Now, let us start the session with the first question. Estimation of a thing's worth. What is a word? One word substitute. Good evening to all of you. At the outset, estimation of a thing's worth. What is a word? One word substitute. You have a look at the sentence and try to answer, then I will tell you what the answer is. First option, pay, goodness, appraisal, beliefs. So I want you guys to respond. Let us make it interactive session. If you respond, then you can enjoy, I can enjoy. So Chinni says 1 4. 4 is not the right answer. Don't feel bad, no problem. I'm happy you have responded. That is important. Now, what is the meaning of a one word substitute for estimation of a thing's worth? It is, the answer is the third option. What is the third option here? Appraisal. Answer is the third option. It is not pay, it is not goodness, it is not beliefs. Answer is appraisal. Appraisal means estimation, estimation of a thing's worth. This particular word, no, Rahul, this platform, I use only English, I don't use Hindi. I would like to tell you guys at the outset, I'm not going to use any language other than English. Throughout 60 minutes, I'm going to spend all the 60 minutes in English. I'm not going to use any other language. So please keep that in mind. If you can follow my English, you're most welcome. Be here. You can enjoy the session. You can get enriched. You can learn a lot. But don't expect me to speak in Hindi. That is not going to happen. So, whether it is my mother tongue or not, that is a different thing. I am here to teach English, so I'm supposed to use English. I don't want to use any other language, and I will try to use, usually, when it comes to English, teaching in English, there's a problem. What is a problem? Some students cannot understand. What I tell them, I use very simple English. The first day you cannot understand. The second day you cannot understand. But you watch for a few days, couple of days, you can, after a week or so, you can easily follow. Because I'm not using very complicated English, I'm not using very effective words. I use very simple English and not at all difficult to follow my English. All that you have to do, have a positive attitude, listen carefully. After some time, you will be able to understand. And one more thing, who is this Vishnuvardhan? Absolutely right. If I use Hindi or Tamil or Telugu, you will not be able to understand the language, the nuances of the language. And I use English all the time. I use a lot of words, I use a lot of sentence patterns, I use a lot of phrases. You get exposed to English. That's what you need. You got to expose yourself to the language. In the long run, that helps you. So please excuse me, don't feel bad. And answer is the third option. What is the third option? Appraisal. Now, there are two examples. In general, the new company will charge based on the size, location, and type of property it appraises. Whatever it appraises, the company charges on the basis of what? Size, location, and type of property. It appraises, estimates the worth of that particular property. And try to analyze the context, try to analyze the sentence, the example, and try to raise your standards. Thank you very much. Second example, he walked around the side of the building to appraise the damage. Someone wanted to appraise or estimate the damage done to a particular building. For that purpose, he walked around the side of the building to appraise the damage. And this particular word, see what happens here, I don't know that particular student is still there or not. Listen very carefully. You guys are so young and a long way to go. Generally, what happens to become good at, you are here to become good at English, obviously. To become good at a particular language, two things are required. One, you have to read a lot. Second, you have to listen a lot. Now, reading a lot, you read a lot, but all the time you cannot read English. That is practically not possible because so many subjects are there. Listen a lot. Now, when you go out, people use a regional language because English is not a mother tongue. We don't come across English all the time. But if you go to the US, the UK, there you come across English all the time. So here, I'm the one, I use English all the time. Then what happens? You get exposed to the language. That is what you need from the exam point of view. He walked around, and all these examples in English, I explain in a simple way, easy to understand, and slowly. And always remember, I tell my students, all things are difficult before they are easy. Initially, very difficult. After some time, they become easy. Whether it could be cooking, it could be riding a bike, it could be driving a car. To encourage you guys, I will give you one simple example. If you take a typical housewife in our country, here, she is not good at English. She goes to the US. She lives there for 1 year. Initially, she could not understand the language, but she lived there for 1 year. After 1 year, she can speak, she can understand, and she can speak like an American, a typical American after 2 or 3 years. Everything is possible. Now, let us go to the second one word substitute. To free completely from blame, this is an important question. And here, all these questions are from previous year's papers, mind you. And all of them are not difficult. All of them are not very important. Whenever we come across a question that is important, I will caution to free completely from blame. This is an important question. So have a look at the options and try to answer. I'll put a star mark. At the fag end of the session, I'm going to show one particular slide. Again, I'm going to tell the important words. Out of 20, 10 are very important. So to free completely from blame, very good. Who is this? Nad says exonerate. I think Das also says, Lakshman says, a lot of students. That's wonderful. It is not let go someone, allow someone to go. That is not the answer. And what is the second option here? clear, not correct. Exonerate. And when you learn a particular word, release is not correct. Generally, I tell students, because you're all new to my teaching, some students are there, they're exposed to my teaching because of the Hindu editorial analysis. But this platform, I'm expecting a lot of new students. I would like to tell those students, when you learn something, learn well. That is very important. And also, when you look at a particular question, a common, a typical student, he sees the question to free completely from blame. Oh, what is the answer? Exonerate. Fine. He will go to the next question, he or she. That is not the right approach. You should take a holistic approach. And first, you have to get the answer. That is a priority. After that, you have to look at the options and ask the question, what else can I learn? You have to look beyond what else can I learn? And also, you have to take that particular word and ask yourself, this word is related to which field, and what are the related words. Now try to guess, this field, this word is related to which field. Exonerate, that is the answer. So means what? To stop blaming someone. To rephrase, stop blaming someone. It goes with crime, it goes with law, it goes with accusation, it goes with allegation. See the related words. So when you come across a particular word, try to think of the related words, look beyond. That habit will help in the long run. Now let us have a look at the examples. The report exonerated the driver from all responsibility for the collision. The report, some report, exonerated. He is free of the blame. Exonerated the driver from all responsibility for the collision. Some collision. Two vehicles hit each other. We use the word collision. And someone is responsible. They must have accused the driver, but the report says the driver is not guilty. He is innocent. Again, related words, innocent, guilty. They go with everyday English. They also go with their legal terms. Innocent means a person who has not committed crime. Guilty, a person who has committed crime. If the judge thinks someone is innocent, then that person is acquitted. If the judge thinks someone is guilty, the person is convicted. See how I'm telling the related words. This is how you have to learn. Now, the report exonerated the driver from all responsibility for the collision. First example, the government officer was exonerated by a grand jury, but the protests continued. Again, this is an example, but every example you have to see, ask the question, what else is there to learn? There's one particular word, exam point of view. Always remember, whatever you learn, try to learn from the exam point of view. And jury, there's one particular word, jury. Now, jury, answer my question. Which part of speech is it? Already someone is ready with the answer. Vishnuvardhan, very good. Jury is a collective noun. What is it? Collective nouns are very important from the exam point of view. There is one particular rule. What is that? Collective nouns usually take a singular verb, and sometimes they take a plural verb, a plural pronoun. Then you may ask the question, so when do they take a plural verb, a plural pronoun? If the sentence talks about division, then we should use a plural verb, a plural noun. Otherwise, a collective noun is considered one unit. Based on that, a collective noun takes a singular verb, a singular pronoun. So that you have to recollect. And what are the typical examples that are important from the exam point of view? When it comes to collective nouns, jury, committee, team, group, staff, family, all these are very important. Of these, again, committee, jury, and team, these in many competitive exams they have used. Now let us go to question number 3. Passing out of use. Something is not in use. Passing out of use. So what is the answer? Yes, of course. But sometimes what happens, the jury was divided in its opinion. There are two errors here. The jury, what is the clue? Divided. The sentence talks about division. Then we should not say was. It's not correct. The jury were divided in their opinion. Then the sentence is correct. Now, what is the answer? Vishnuvardhan says it is the first option or second option or fourth option. Yes, answer is obsolescent. Obsolete, from that you get the noun form obsolescent. But here, let us have a look at other words. So far, we haven't seen the options, not that important, easy words. Now, here, adolescent. What does it mean? Try to guess. I will not give the meanings immediately. I will give you a few seconds. Tell the meaning of the word adolescent. Adolescent means what? Adolescence, adolescent. Now, answer is that, but let us have a look at the remaining three words. They are very important. Adolescent. Adolescence means the if you take young people between 13 and 19, teenage, that age group, we use the word adolescence. Before childhood and before after childhood, before adulthood, that period is called adolescence. That's right. Board of members, board is considered singular, and of members, board is interested in something. We don't say the board are. Of members is a phrase. Board is considered singular. That is also considered collective noun. Plus batch time is morning 9:30 to 11:30. 9:30 to 11:30. Between 13 and 19, that's right. Now, what is the meaning of reticent? Reticent means what? Try to guess. I will give you a few seconds. Reticent. That's also an important word. And it goes with effective English, not everyday English. Reticent, some people by nature, they're reserved and they don't try to express their views. Who speaks less, who is rather shy, and who is not willing to share his or her views. Very good, I appreciate. Who is that? Shalini. Now let us go to the third one. Second one is not correct. Answer we have got already. Translucent. What does it mean? Luminescence, lucent, introvert. Lakshman, you're right. Introvert, reserved, someone who keeps to himself. See the expressions I have been using: introvert, reserved, a person who keeps to himself or herself. We also use one particular word, and that has a negative connotation. What is the meaning of translucent? Translucent means transparent but not completely. Partially transparent. Light can penetrate through, but not fully. Partially transparent, we use the word translucent. That is also an important word. Now, have a look at the examples. Much of our existing machinery is obsolescent. The machinery is or has become obsolescent. Slightly transparent. Yes, Lakshman, you're absolutely right. I appreciate that. These obsolescent gliders performed admirably. There's one particular word, glider. Gliding, noun form, gliding, adventure sport. And when it comes to gliding, people use gliders. Gliders are of different types. But when it comes to hang gliders, they look like a kite. They use plastic, I suppose, and people, they go to the top of a mountain. From there they jump using a hang glider. That comes under adventure sport. Now let us go to question number 4, or one word substitute number 4. What is it? A drink is usually made from mixture of one or more alcoholic drinks. So what is it? What is a one word substitute for that? Hang gliding, air gliding. Generally, we say hang gliding. Gliders, hang gliders. A glider is an aeroplane with fixed wings, long fixed wings. But your hang gliding has a different connotation altogether. So, what is the answer for one word substitute question number 4? Cocktail. A lot of students have responded. I'm smiling. You can understand why. So here the clue for you, alcoholic drinks. So what is it? Mixture of one or more alcoholic drinks. But non-alcoholic, what is the answer? Here the answer is cocktail. What is the second option over here? Mocktail. Mocktail means mixture of non-alcoholic drinks. Alcoholic cocktail. Non-alcoholic, like fruit juices. What is the word? You mix two or three types of fruit juices, apple, orange, something else. And then what is the word for that? Mocktail. Liquor, you all know the word, bisque. It's a French word. It's not a regular word. But try to remember, sometimes you may get in the passage, then you have to answer. Bisque means it's a French word, one type of French, it is French soup, one type of French soup. You all know soups. And a French soup is called bisque, a French word. It goes with French culture. Now, when it comes to languages, I would like to tell something interesting. Every language has a tag. When it comes to English, it is known as the most polite language. And there's a concept in English called English gentleman. English gentleman goes with English culture and English language. There's a particular image. Who is this English gentleman? He always wears a coat. In one hand has an umbrella. In the other hand has a cigar and wears a hat. Whenever he talks to others, he's very polite. Especially when he talks to ladies, he's very polite. So the concept English gentleman. English is known as the most polite language. I will answer. And French is known as the most romantic language. Don't ask me how romantic. French is known as the most romantic language. And the word exotic. Exotic means it has two different meanings. One meaning, something that is foreign, does not belong to this place, foreign, exotic, exotic species, a particular animal or plant that belongs to some other place. And exotic locations, foreign locations, also something very beautiful, exotic stuff, something exciting, beautiful. Two different meanings. Now, he requested a cocktail made up of a few exotic types of liquor. One example, very good, thank you. In an attempt to take his own life, he took a cocktail of various drugs. Now, this is a good example. What is the reason? Let me read out the sentence first. In an attempt to take his own life, he took a cocktail of various drugs and he found in his father's medicine cabinet. Generally, people think cocktail goes with drinks. Now, look at this example. Cocktail of what? Various drugs. So it goes with drugs also. It goes with tablets. It goes with medicine. So you should keep it open. I always tell my students English has rules, English has exceptions. So keep it open. Don't have fixed ideas when it comes to English. Now let us go to one word substitute number 5, giving undue favors to one's own kith and kin. This is an important one, very important. You give undue favors or do undue favors to your kith and kin. This is one idiomatic expression, kith and kin. What does it mean? All your relatives, friends, known people, acquaintances, all of them together, we use the word kith and kin. At the time of marriage, we invite the kith and kin with the best wishes from the kith and kin. Already a few students have answered, a lot of students have answered. I'll be ableism, not correct. I'll tell the meaning later. Iconoclast, an important word, not the answer. Maiden, an important word, not the answer. Nepotism. So, what is the answer for question number 5? Nepotism. Today in our country, we have a lot of problems. Every country has a lot of problems. In our country, we have rampant corruption. We also have the problem of nepotism. What is nepotism? There's a minister, there's an official, he or she favors his relatives. Then what is the word for that? Nepotism. Now, ableism means showing favors towards able bodied people. Able bodied people. And iconoclast, very important, means a person who attacks or criticizes cherished institutes or traditions. Cherished, liked a lot. Someone attacks those cherished institutes or traditions, we call that person iconoclast. Maiden speech, a typical example. Maiden means what? First time. Those who follow cricket, they know maiden century means for the first time. Okay, that comes under nepotism. Let us have a look at the examples. The nepotism in which the minister indulged is inexcusable. Usually, it goes with those who have power, ministers, officials. They indulge. That's an important word to get involved into something. It goes with bad habits, negative things. Don't indulge in bad habits. A typical example. And his attitude towards nepotism was at variance with his character as a reformer. Another example. Now let us go to question number 6. Something that might happen in future. What is the answer? Something that might happen in future. Contingency, insurance, emergency, prophecy. Indulge in. It takes a preposition in. All and sundry. No, all and sundry means everyone irrespective of their rank. Kith and kin, relatives, friends, and acquaintances. Answer is Mayank says contingency. Answer is the first option. Absolutely. Something that might happen in future, usually something that is not positive, something that is negative. Insurance, obviously not. Emergency, not. Prophecy, an important word. What is the meaning of the word prophecy? Try to guess. I will give you a few seconds. If one student responds with the right answer, then I will tell. Otherwise, I'll wait for a few seconds, then I will tell the meaning of the word prophecy. Contingency is the answer. But what is the meaning of, no problem, sometimes it happens, Vishnuvardhan, no need to feel bad about that. And what is the meaning of prophecy? Prophecy means what? It means telling about future, predicting the future. And this is an important word from the exam point of view. You may ask, sir, why is it important? Look at the spelling, prophecy. If it ends in cy, it is a noun. If it ends in sy, it is a verb. Prophecy. Be careful with the spelling of the word prophecy. In the exam, if they give a question, not easy, under pressure. Now, have a look at the examples. We are not prepared for this type of contingency. The army is already preparing contingency plans to provide protection to the villagers. Now, let us go to question number 7. A word or tradition that has gone out of use. Already I've got a question based on this word, but a different form, noun form. Yes, prophecy means predicting the future. Perfect, Vishnuvardhan. Contingent expenses, contingent assets, contingent liabilities. That's a very good combination, collocation. Yes, perfect. Contingency fund, a typical example, Mayank, right. I appreciate a lot of students are coming up with excellent combinations that is highly appreciable. So a word or tradition that has gone out of use, already have got, what is the answer? Obsolete. Obsolete is the answer. And absolute, something is absolute, cannot be questioned. Outdated. Then here, this is an important question. Please listen very carefully. Why is it important? Obsolete is the right word. Don't consider this. Outdated, yes. Old fashioned, in a way, yes. Now, there are three words like synonyms. Which one will you consider? Quite often, they try to confuse a candidate by giving synonyms in the question. Then, what are you supposed to do? Look at the words. Some words go with formal English, some words go with informal English. Here, you have to choose the word that goes with formal English, effective English. Based on that, answer is the first option, not outdated, not old fashioned. It can become obsolete, as weird to us as slavery and public hangings. Weird. Americans use this word quite often. Weird means what? Strange. Today is not your day. It happens sometimes. Every day is not Sunday. No problem. Here, weird, if you talk to a typical American, he or she uses this word weird quite often. Means what? Strange. We use the word strange. They use the word weird. Slavery and public hangings. The rate at which new technology becomes obsolete is amazing. Today we say new technology, tomorrow it becomes obsolete, something else comes up. And this pace, rate at which new technology becomes obsolete is amazing. Amazing means what? Surprising. Surprising. That's why I told you, Amar, not to go there. I told you guys, I gave the new link. Now let us go to question number 8. A special fondness or liking for something, not for someone, for something. A special fondness, fond of something, you like something. Fondness or liking for, so what is the answer? I missed the class. Aman, in fact, I posted, when I saw your message, I posted immediately the link. Maybe you are not there that time. Propensity, an important word, but that is not the answer. What is the answer? Already I see Nagamani and some more students have responded. It is penchant. What is the answer? Yes, Prithviraj says penchant, and it is not propensity. Propensity means inclination towards something, inclination towards something, and inclination, same, propensity, inclination, one and the same. Penchant, fondness towards something, and preoccupation, always thinking of something, preoccupied with something. Have a look at the examples. He has a penchant for adventure sports. Some people like adventure sports. And take my name. What do you mean by that? Sir, take my name, Muhammad. So for the answer you mean, I will do it. Sometimes I miss certain names. He has a penchant for adventure sports. Nowadays, a lot of youngsters, they like adventure sports. Like so many are there, skydiving, hang gliding, so many. My uncle has a penchant for seashells. Seashells. Some people love to have collect seashells. Now let us go to question number 9, rather easy. Relating to kinship with the father. Only for Murthy sir's classes. Thank you, Aman. Nice of you. I appreciate that. Penchant synonyms liking, passion. Passion, you can use the word passion. Passion also means a lot of liking for something. Synonyms, antonyms we'll see later, because this session, every question we have 4 options. There's so much to learn from the options, and if I talk about the synonyms, antonyms, again it takes a lot of time. Already we are behind the schedule. This is question number 9. I have to stop by 8:30. We still have 11 questions. Answer is, you all can answer, I'm sure. It is patrilineal. Pater. Pater means related to father. Matter, related to mother. Matrilineal. Mother related. Fratrilineal. Fratri, one meaning related to brothers, another meaning related to brothers and sisters. And familial, related to the family. All these words are easy. Now let us go to the examples, purely science related. The Y chromosome passes from father to son in an almost unchanged state. In a patrilineal society, it is almost impossible to find any information about mother's ancestors. Ancestors means what? Forefathers. Careful with the spelling. Forefathers. In one of the batches, I asked a student, who are your forefathers? If it is boring, then don't be here. Leave this platform. Mohammed, isn't this session boring? If it is boring, please leave. No one is asking you to be here, and we are not forcing students to be here. Those who are interested, they will be here. Those who are not interested, those who find it boring, they have the right to leave. As simple as that. So, forefathers means what? Ancestors. And one student, he looked at me, strange expression. Then I had to clarify, not FOUR, FORE. Oh, same message repeatedly. Looks like he is not able to understand. Let us ignore. Now let us go to question number 10. A part of a word that can be pronounced separately. Yeah, that's a nice expression, Sheikh Rasul. Let us ignore. Sometimes we do come across. Let us ignore. That is the best thing to do. We don't have to consider those people. A part of a word that can be pronounced separately. So, what is the answer? Third option. Very good. It means syllable. Now, when you talk about pronunciation, there's something called IPR, IPS, International Phonetic Script. And when it comes to pronunciation, you have to know about syllable stress and word stress, sentence, the intonation patterns, all these things. Syllable, for example, if you take the word English, English has two syllables. English, two syllables. Interesting, interesting. There are four syllables. These are known as syllables. Particle, easy word, sibilant, and sibling rivalry. This we have to cross check, not the answer. Letter, simple word, not correct. Now let us go to the examples. The last syllable of the first line rhymes with the third syllable of the second. Sometimes it is very difficult to pronounce multi-syllable words. Sometimes you come across multi-syllable words, very difficult to pronounce. So you've got to be careful. Now let us go to question number 11. To remove an objectionable part from a book. Oh, this guy is repeatedly the same message. To remove an objectionable part from a book, what is the answer? This is a good question, not easy to answer. Exterminate, expurgate, extirpate, destroy. So no one has responded. Please respond to question number 11. Extirpate means destroy. That is not the answer. Exterminate, extirpate, destroy. They all mean one and the same in a way. So not correct. Destroy completely. What is the answer here? It is a second option. Expurgate. That's an important question you got to remember. Now let us have a look at the examples. The editor heavily expurgated the work in the second edition. He expurgated the book to make it suitable for children. So, examples also very useful. Now, let us go to question number 12. Not easy to answer. You need biology background and veterinary science related to that. What is the answer? Pertaining to sheep. First, you try to answer this, then I will tell something important. Answer is 1. Canine means related to dogs, wolves, all those. And Chandan Kumar, is there any problem with the voice? Bovine related to cattle. Ovine, that is the answer. Feline related to cats. So what is the answer? No, no, pertaining means related to. What is the meaning of the word pertain? Related to. Answer is the third option. Not, yes, fourth one means cat, and answer is the here, answer is the third option. Now let us go to question number 13. Because that is purely science related, I haven't brought the examples. Now let us go to question number 13. No issue, Aman. Okay, thanks for the response. Hole excavated by an animal as dwelling. Now what does it mean? Burrow. Who is this? Immediate answer. Karthik. Very good. And all good. Thank you. Thanks for the response, the feedback. It is borrow. No. It is the second option. Burrow. Bore. No. Pierce. To make a hole. So what is the answer? Burrow. If you take animals, we have different types of animals. Burrowing animals, arboreal animals. Arboreal means some animals live in the branches of the tree, canopy of the tree, arboreal. And burrowing animals, they make a hole, dig a hole, they live in the ground. They are known as burrowing. Have a look at the examples. The larvae usually burrow into bark of the tree. Earthworms burrow deep into the subsoil. Again, science background is required to understand. Now let us go to question number 14. Small pieces of metal that fly out from an exploding bomb. What is the answer? Question number 14. Rabbit, yes, burrowing animal. Hares, burrowing animals. A lot of animals are there. Pig is not a burrowing animal, no. Pierce, yes, some people get ears pierced, nose pierced. You have to spend some time after the session, and you have to go in for association. Make your own examples, use mnemonics, memory techniques, acronyms, all these. And what is the answer for question number 14? Splinters. A lot of students may think that is the answer, but that is not the answer. Yes, yes, pig, that is right, bore. And the answer is shrapnel. That is the answer. Splinters, sharp pieces. But here it talks about exploding bomb. For that answer is the first option, not the second option. Filings, bullets, no. What is the answer? And eyebrows piercing, yes, it goes with it is in vogue, means what? It is in fashion. The soldier was hit in the arm by flying shrapnel, not splinter. Seven passers-by, passer-by singular, passers-by plural, were hit by shrapnel in the attack. Now let us go to question number 15. Splinters, water splinters, I have never heard. I'm not quite sure. Yashwant, I have to cross check. I can tell you in the next session whether it is a right combination or not. The act of speaking about one's thoughts when one is alone. This is also an important question. The act of speaking about one's thoughts when one is alone. Monologue. No. Answer, Aman, you got it right. Shalini got it right. It is soliloquy. Soliloquy. Answer is the fourth option. Someone talks to himself, that is known as soliloquy. Monologue, only a lengthy dialogue. Answer is not monologue, it is the fourth option. And what are the examples over here? Generally, operas start with a soliloquy of an actor introducing himself on his first appearance. Second example, he has created a whole new interpretation of the soliloquy. Joined a little late. Who is this Nimisha? Please go to, this is an important question. Question number 16. You got it right. That's wonderful. So slowly things are changing. So what is the answer? Question number 16. Prince says 1. Study of caves. It is not seismology. Seismology goes with what? Mono means one. Monologue, a long dialogue. And soliloquy, talking to oneself. Both are different. Yes, answer is the first option. What is the first option? Speleology. Speleology means study of caves, seismology related to earthquakes, and topology, topography related to the surface of the land. It goes with geology. The young scientist is interested in speleology. One example, their interest in the field of speleology was promptly revived, brought back to life. Their interest in speleology, in the field of speleology, was promptly revived. Question number 17. You got this in the morning. One who is new to a profession. So, what is the answer? Someone is a beginner, someone is new to the profession. Nuances means subtle shades. Nuance, not correct. Pun, I explained this morning. Pun means what? A joke or a puzzle based on homophones. Puns are part of English culture, English conversation. And what is the next one? Answer is the third option. What is the third option? Tyro. We can also say novice, Novice, and vandal, vandalism, destroying or damaging the public property. Have a look at the examples. The producer was no tyro in turning millions of dollars into celluloid. The angler. Who is an angler? Yes, repeated. Three questions are repeated. That's what I'm going to do. Morning, I present three questions. I will tell students if you want more, then you attend this session. Out of 25, three questions are repeat questions. Angler means a person who catches fish. The angler with the signature fishing cap encourages tyros a lot. Now let us go to question number 18. What is the meaning of government by the few? Only a few. This is again very important. In the past, SSC bank exams, quite often they would ask questions related to forms of government. Good evening. Who is this? Nimisha Garg. A little late. You have joined the session at 7:30. No problem. There is a saying in English. What is it? Better late than never. Answer is first option. What is it? Oligarchy. Answer is the first option. And now let us go to autocracy. Autocrat. Someone rules with a powerful authority or like a dictator. Autocrat means a dictator. Monarchy. Monarchy goes with kingdoms, and no problem. And one person ruling monarchy. Anarchy, no government at all. There's no government. What is the word? Anarchy. And then it is confusion, a lot of confusion. There is a word. What is it? Chaos, chaotic situation. Anarchy is nothing but chaotic situation. I am from Sridhar CC, but now I'm with an academy. Oligarchy was once very popular. Example, now democracy is very popular. The corrupt forms include tyranny and oligarchy. Yes, of course, that's correct. Repeat what, Rahul? What do you want me to repeat? Oligarchy, or the other words. Oligarchy is the answer. Government by the few. A few people rule, then it is called. Plutocracy means, I think, government by the intellectuals. Plutocracy. Rich, the cream of the society. That we use the word plutocracy. The elite of a particular society. Elite means the intellectuals, the rich, and the famous. Now let us go to question number 19. A speech or a presentation. This is a repeat question, mind you. And a speech or a presentation made without previous preparation. That's what I said. Who is this Thakur? What does plutocracy mean? A rule by elite of a particular society means what? The rich and the famous, the intellectuals. Then we use the word plutocracy. Answer is the third option, extempore, not extempore, extempore. And euphemism means what? Say something harsh in a nice way. Obituary, a news article in the newspaper about the death of a person. Soliloquy, talking to oneself, that is known, already have got the question. Now, examples. The act is usually performed extempore, following the whims of the director. There is one idiomatic expression very important from the exam point of view. Whims and fancies of someone means what? Not based on any rationality, based on spontaneous, instinctive behavior, without any reasoning, without any rationality, without any justification. Whims and fancies. Their remarks were extempore and may need to be qualified. Another example. But usually people say extempore, that is not correct. And only three so that you can, yes, of course. The last question, materials that change naturally by the action of bacteria. My pleasure. Thank you very much. Aman. Materials that change naturally by the action of bacteria. What is the answer? Yes, who is this? Shalini says fourth option. And Prince Kumar also says fourth option. Absolutely. Biodegradable. Bacteria, living organisms, biodegradable. Inflammable, something that catches fire. Perishable, something that gets spoiled in a day or two. Biological, related to biology. Now, what are the examples that go with biodegradable packaging helps in protecting the environment? Today, we all talk about environment, and biodegradable packaging helps in protecting the environment. The carton I received yesterday is made of biodegradable plastic. Practical examples. Now, let us go to the last slide. Now, this slide is very useful. Now you have learned, in this session, you have learned about 20 words based on the questions. But if you look at the options and the words I have given, more than 50 words, about 100 words you must have got. 20 into 4, 80, and from my side, some words, let us say roughly 100 words. But some of these are very important. Now, let me ask, try to answer immediately. Exonerate. That's a very good question. Who is this Vishnuvardhan? In fact, I thought of telling. Generally, if we use a prefix in, it has a negative connotation. Efficient, positive. Inefficient, negative. But English has rules, English has exceptions. Flammable, something that catches fire. Inflammable, you may think something that does not catch fire. No, it is not like that. Flammable, inflammable, synonyms. Both mean the same. Flammable, inflammable, something that catches fire. There's no difference whatsoever. Vishnuvardhan, have you got it? There's no difference between flammable, inflammable. Both mean the same, catching fire. So exonerate, answer quickly. This is like rapid fire. Exonerate means what? I want you guys to respond immediately. Whatever comes to your mind, you answer. Exonerate. No one has responded. Already have learned. Free from blame. Very good. Who is this? Shruti. Excellent. Now we'll go to second one. Nepotism. Nepotism means what? Whatever comes to your mind, you say that. You don't have to use the exact words. Meaning should be conveyed. That's important. Free from guilt. Stop blaming someone. Exonerate and go to out of blame. That is also right. Don't try to give the exact words. Not required. Convey the meaning. Nepotism means what? Nepotism. Favoring one's kith and kin. You favor your relatives. Relatives are favored. Then what is the word? Nepotism. It has a negative connotation. And contingency. Contingency means what? Contingency. Not giving preference to outstanding persons. Obviously, that is a negative impact of nepotism. And what is the meaning of contingency? May happen in future. Lakshman, yes, something that may happen in future. Unexpected. Contingency, something unexpected and may happen in future. Now, penchant. What is the meaning of the word penchant? Immediate answer. Might happen in future. That is over. And what is the meaning of penchant? That's also an important word. Here I will present important words. Fondness, liking towards something. Very good. And expurgate. What is the meaning of expurgate? That is also an important word. Fond of something that is over. And what is the meaning of expurgate? Not a regular word, those you have to focus. Eliminate, remove objectionable part from a book. Remove something from a book. Remember the word book, and also remember removing something from a book. And soliloquy, what does it mean? You got this morning, and it's a repeat word. Soliloquy. Eliminate, remove objections or objectionable matter from a book. That you should remember. Cut down, that is also right. And no one has responded for talking to oneself, soliloquy, talking to oneself. Speleology, an important word. Sometimes what happens, a particular word is in the limelight. They will ask question directly or indirectly. Today, if you take COVID-19, the virus, one of the theories says we have got it from bats. And where do bats live? One, trees, they hang upside down. The other, usually bats live in caves. Where do they live? In caves. Then based on this, they may ask a question in the exam. Study of caves is called what? Then you should be able to answer. Speleology. That way it is important. Always remember something is in the limelight. Based on that, they frame the questions. That way, very important. Tyro. What is the meaning of the word tyro? Tyro means what? One who is new to the profession. That means we also use one idiomatic expression, greenhorn. Greenhorn also means a novice, a person new to the profession. Tyro. And what is the meaning of oligarchy? A rule by, try to complete. A rule by. Here you know options. Whatever you remember, you have to say that. Government by a few. Yes, Sharma, you're right. And what is the last one? Extempore. It goes with speech, presentation. Yes, without any preparation. Prithvi Raja, perfect. Without any preparation. We also say spontaneous. We also say off the cuff. He gave a presentation off the cuff. That's all for today. But before I wind up the session, I want you guys to give the feedback regarding this particular session, one word substitutes. I brought the questions, all previous year's questions from previous year's exams, and I brought the examples so that you get an idea about the context, about the usage. And someone asked, Sir, how to remember? Please listen. I will spend 4 minutes. We have 4 minutes. Listen very carefully. When you take English language, there are three dimensions: grammar, easy, limited, static; reading comprehension, difficult, time taking; vocabulary, ocean. It's an ocean. Lakhs of words are there. And if you take vocabulary, always students worry. They ask the question, Sir, how to remember? Now, how many words you have to remember from the exam point of view? First question. Second question, how to learn. Third question, how to remember. How many words? Answer for that question. Don't get scared. You should learn about 5,000 to 10,000 effective words. One thing. Second, how to learn. Now, sessions like these will definitely help you. Third, how to remember. That is a bottom line. That is a $1 million question. Please listen very carefully. When you learn a lot, you enjoy the session, you learn a lot, you feel happy, you get enriched. But after 2 or 3 days, you may not remember any of these words or many of these words. Then it is like back to square one, back to the starting point. Then how to remember? Next session, I'll give the tips. But today, do try to make your own examples. Take each word, make a sentence, your own example, and try to associate with something. Try to use mnemonics, memory techniques. Then you will be able to remember. That's it for today. If you have a question, you could ask me. Oh, thank you very much, Lakshman. Interactive and lovable sessions, sir. I'm happy to hear that, to see that rather. And tomorrow I'm going to start rules, 200 rules, same time, same platform. Please don't go to the other platform. This is a platform. In the Telegram group, I'll share the link. And tomorrow, for the first time, I'm going to start introduction, rules, grammar rules, and series 200 grammar rules. Tomorrow is going to be the first session related to grammar rules. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Good night. I will see you tomorrow. Same platform. I would like to reiterate tomorrow evening 7:30. Thank you again.